Content warning before the video starts. There are going to be many triggering and heavy topics that are going to be discussed in this video. There are resources listed down in the description if you are experiencing dark thoughts or just need somebody to talk to. As dark as the topics are, I will tread lightly but will still be detailed at the same time. I do enjoy Sewerslvt's music, but I chose to have my personal opinions and ratings over music closer to the end of the video. This video's purpose is to document and talk about this artist in well-researched and high-quality detail. Many things were deleted and were very difficult to pinpoint and look for. I tried my best to make sure that this video had as accurate as possible research, which is why I've had to speculate a few of the releases that were made. If things come up that weren't mentioned, I will provide an updated comment under the video about things that I've missed and credit to the people who found those things. Viewer discretion is advised. Sewerslvt was one of the most influential underground drum and bass, breakcore, and electronic musical artists from Australia that has come to popularity in the last 3 years. However, due to constant controversies and cancellations, she decided to leave her online presence altogether with the release of her final album in November of 2021. But before all of this, she released many albums, EPs, remixes, and was making music ever since she was 16. She was heavily inspired and influenced by Goreshit, Death Grips, Godspeed You, Black Emperor, Pendulum, Martin O'Donnell, the Halo soundtrack for her ambient pads, many different synthwave artists, Porter Robinson, Def Heaven, and several other drum and bass / jungle artists. Sewerslvt grew to popularity due to her song Pretty Cunt going viral on TikTok, and her most popular album to date, Draining Love Story, and its featured track Mr. Kill Myself. Sewerslvt, however, went under a few names. At first she went by Sadboy Sheldon from 2016 to January 2018 when it was fully dropped. Then Jvnko Sheldon. While she began transitioning from male to female, she began using Sewerslvt ever since the release of Don't Be Afraid of Dying, and had a secondary alias, Jvnko, to pay homage to the gruesome murder of Junko Furuta. In 2021, however, Sewerslvt changed her alias to better fit her personality and went by Jvne. Then on November 12, 2021, she released her final album and completely disappeared. However, the story is much more detailed than that, and when Sewerslvt became popular due to her most popular songs, people began to dig up a lot of her earlier work, her mistakes, and her past online behavior, to which people cancelled her, and then completely got off of the internet. This is the full story of Sewerslvt, all of her music, controversies, parts of her life, and everything that led to her eventual decision to stop making music and her departure from the internet. Sewerslvt originally started making music in early 2016 and worked with a small group of artists called Ponk's Bakery. After doing some research on them, I found a small YouTube channel with a lot of interesting videos. The ones that actually have commentary has a person with a subtle Australian accent. The rest of the videos are variants of different shitposts from August 28, 2016 to February 12, 2018. Some of the videos have a lot of editing and content that would have been relevant to Sheldon at the time, and I can see a bit of correlation between a few of the videos, mainly the ones that have funky editing, mashups, and possibly music, is the only album being More Than Two Pilots by Rosecock. It's a mashup album consisting of different popular songs from before and during 2016. I feel like Sheldon may have had some help with some of the songs, but there is no tracklist for this album anywhere, so it's speculation at this point. Also, the album cover is obviously a parody of 21 Pilots' album Blurry Face. Ponk's Bakery's playlist has a YouTube playlist called Ponk's Bakery-J, with 27 videos that have 2 videos removed, being video 8 and 26. Looking on the Wayback Machine on Sewerslvt's channel, I actually found a full video album called Ponk's Bakery-J, which is 45 minutes long, belonging to a YouTube playlist called Shitpost with the caption, I Lost Control of My Life. Ponk's Bakery also created a genre of music known as Pisscore and is a meme version of breakcore, but includes a lot of Skrillex, Vocaloid, Psy, and other electronic music samples. Artists that specialize in the genre are 44,000 and Piss Spears. In mid-2016 or early 2018, Sadboy Sheldon released a total of 7 albums, 2 EPs, and a countless amount of singles, including Hotline Spikes, Death Grips, and Machine Girl, Hidden Stock in the West, and countless more singles and shitpost releases. The first album she released was Wakeman and the Infinite Autism, which is a collection of Death Grips mashups and different different synthwave songs. The 30-song tracklist for this album is Hotline Spikes, Stray a Cunt, Sheldon Edit, Real Ramen, Mighty Tachyon Force, R.I.P. Club Penguin, original title including But Seriously I Got Banned from that piece of shit site like 4 fucking times, Hidden Death, Resonance, Silicon Pit, We Are Number 1, original title adding But It's Sun over the instrumental Take On Me and with Death Grips and Psy, Oh, Raining Memes, Pendulum, Bag Chan Dies in the Phantom Menace, Broken Houdini, Black Skin House. The song specifically had another part of the controversies. Shooting Photographs. Post Malone is a good guy, go give him a like and subscribe to El Smosh. Smash Tony Mouth Tano, Kaleidostar, Fun Things Are Fun, Robot Pussy, Rock Music, Aquacore, Scream Scaly Pie, Levin Look at Me, Bloody Mouth, The Suffering of Jvnko, Cabinet Mouth, and Fellow Memeing. This album was released on April 23rd, 2017. There were like 5 good songs out of 30, which is surprising, but honestly, this is quite impressive due to the fact that the majority of this album is musical shitposting. The second album that Sheldon released is No Hotline Deep Miami, which is a parody title of Death Grips' No Love Deep Web, but is a mashup album with Death Grips vocals and some songs from the Hotline Miami soundtrack. The track list is Escape from the Bottomless Pit, Beware the Voyager, Divide Stockton, I Want Hollywood, Lord of the Dust, Culture Aerobics, No Roller Mobster, MC Ride Theme, Warping Perv, At Ending, and Hotline Spikes. The last song completely ruins the flow of the album, being mainly Death Grips vocals and synthwave until it unpleasantly surprises you with a bunch of shitty meme songs. This album was released on May 22nd, 2017 and actually led Sadboy Sheldon to garner 1 million views on YouTube before it was taken down. The third album Sheldon released actually is the #1 thing that has been brought up in controversies and mentioned about as well. Of course, the name being a dead giveaway as to why, but with a Z at the end of the hard R. The album cover is quite genius due to the fact that it's a parody of Gorillaz' Feel Good Inc. with Michael Jackson, the babysitter from the live-action Cat in the Hat movie, Big Smoke, and Howard from Big Bang Theory. Amazing album cover, bad name. The 26 album tracklist consists of Sadboy Sheldon's attempt at Pisscore, the album serving as an intro, Beach Guillotine, Rules of Sunshine, What's the Deal with Flying Cans, Interlude, Elevator Going Up is a postmodernist masterpiece, 44,000's shitty unoriginal contemporary, Sadboy Sheldon, Switch, I Will Destroy MLP, and that N-word Gemboy 2, Congrats, You, Relations, Really Funny Pun, XD9, XXX, Penis, and also Dicky and Ball, Gainax, You Fucking Nips, make season 2 already, referencing Neon Genesis Evangelion and how there is only 1 season of this 9 out of 10 anime, Bubble Tea is gay, Taiwan is still China, fuck you, do you remember, Interlude, more of these useless interludes to increase the runtime, Madian ripping off Justice, ripping off Daft Punk, ripping off the Communist Manifesto, Snails is just Skrillex for people who think scary monsters and nice sprites are for 12-year-olds, Mumbles and Atlantean, let's face it, rappers from Atlanta were a mistake, 9,000 Miles, Take Me Away, Pegged by the Pegboard Nerds, I Don't Fucking Know Anymore, I don't either with this album honestly, Russians, and My Synth Pop, it's more likely than you think, Interlude, the actual good part of the album and not some witty pisscore bullshit, Spiker, and Outro. This album was released on June 6, 2017, but was originally going to be released much later in the year but was published earlier to Sadboy Sheldon's YouTube channel celebrating having 2,000 subscribers. This album would later on end up almost ruining Sewerslvt's musical career and her entire appearance online. The first EP that Sadboy Sheldon released was on June 29, 2017 and called Atrocity Exhibition with 2 songs, Atrocity Exhibition and 3 Atrocities and a Good Exhibition. The first track is almost 16 minutes long and features several different rap verses over electronic songs that change every 2 to 4 minutes. 3 Atrocities is Death Grips' 3 Bedrooms in a Good Neighborhood mashed with an upbeat electronic song in the background. The 4th album Sheldon released was My Beautiful Dark Teenage Robot, parodying Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, not only with the name but also with the album cover. This album has a 10-song tracklist with the mashed up samples sounding considerably a lot more matched with what they were being played with. The tracks on this album are My Beautiful Dark Teenage Robot, Sad Halation, Feel God Inc., Gildish Gambino, Guilty Warfare, My VA-11, My Hall-A, Small Nozomi's Hig Quality Small Venture, Not in Style, Resonance Freestyle, and Would You Ever Fall. Most of these songs are pretty much similar to Jvne, Wakeman, and No Hotline Deep Miami, but with slightly more consistency and less chaotic elements. This album was speculated to have been released sometime in mid-July. The second EP that Sadboy Sheldon, possibly under the Jvne Sheldon name, was Muse Night Part 1, and I am unable to find when it was actually originally released, so I'm going to assume that it was released sometime in August 2017. The 4-song tracklist is Shadow Dash Dash, Crystal Halation, All the Time, River of Lovelessness, and I Love You for Light Years. All these songs are honestly pretty cute, and in retrospect is a bunch of J-pop girls singing over top the popular synthwave group The Midnight Songs. If you ignore the strange dissonance of the vocals with the backing track, it's not that bad of an EP, but unfortunately in many parts it just sounds incredibly off. Not only that, but there are literal points where the vocals just don't match. The best example of this would be in I Love You for Light Years at the 50-second mark, 1 minute and 15-second mark, and 1 minute and 45-second mark, etc. The fifth album that was released was the blatant misuse of Jvne's instrumentals, which officially used the Jvne Sheldon moniker. The 26-song tracklist is Captain Tacualicious, The Money Store, No Love Satisfaction, Watch Me Upload Trash, When Houdini's Gone, Fuck That, Try Love Again, Noid Encore, Bass Rattle Chew Out the Sky, 1-2 Push Your Swing, My Name is Stefan, N-Word Suicide Dash Dog Collector, LOTG Rewards, Bird Crossing, Frisky Girl in the Underworld, I Want Me, I Need Me, Warp a Mad Fool, Twan Bonds, This Was the Point where I had no more ideas so I gave up, just skip this track, Coloss 808 Like That, Suicide Bell, Scene for the Culture, The Emancipation of MC Ride, Bouncing Out, Lock Your Asses, Bottomless Hearts, and The Legend of Zelda, Beware of the Wild. The speculated time of release was September 2017. This album is another mashup slash pisscore album, however the second and third track are actually pretty entertaining to listen to. There are many different ideas that this album conveys, but it does end up being a bit chaotic and lazy at parts. However, this is a complete change of pace compared to previous releases and is entirely different in not only production quality, but also being a very large improvement, even though it used many vocals from before. This album puts them into a completely different and unique light. The sixth album that was released went back to the Sadboy Sheldon name was Death Villainy and was published on October 10th, 2017. This 12-song tracklist is The Noidest Villains, Beware the Accordion, Meet Guillotine, Raids, America's Most Noided, Wambos, The Pearls, Moneyfucker, Lord of the Way, Culture Clown, Tachyon, and a bonus track being Mighty Morphin Sleeves. Under the Sewerslvt name, along with the Sadboy Sheldon name, she published her first online concert, Music to Die, 2 Volume .666, mixed by Sewerslvt and Sadboy Sheldon, where it was an entire hour of different music along with incredible visuals. This was speculated to have been released sometime after Death Villainy, so I'm going to assume this was uploaded either late October or early November. The mix also starts off with Sewerslvt, and with the name being spaced and not having the V replacement for the U. The tracklist is Trash by Death Grips, a remix of some kind, Punk by Ferry Corsten, Cosmic Gate remix, Children by 4 Clubbers, Future Breeze vs. Junk Food Junkies remix, Isn't It All a Little Strange by Shock, I Will by Danny Brown, Umleitung by Under Construction, D Gore remix, Fuck Sonnet by John Creamer, Dreams in My Fantasy 2003 by DJ Session 1, Plutonium Boy remix, Unknown, Nobody Ever Robs Restaurant Scene from Pulp Fiction, Acid Fighter by Soundgrabber, The Crow remix, Unknown, Congratulations by Post Malone, Love Live by Maki X Nico, Spell Me, Life Force Her True Form Scene, World of Dogs by Death Grips, Unknown, Gallane by Machine Code, Doom Terrorcore by Future Doom, Rights by Future Doom, Lord of the Game by Death Grips, Epoch by Future Doom, and Blame by Korn. It was deleted possibly for copyright reasons and wanting to get rid of any connection to the Sadboy Sheldon name in the future. Possibly sometime in late November or early December, Sewerslvt released a moody song for You, which was dedicated to Little Peep, who died on November 15th. In December 2017, Sadboy Sheldon released 2 tracks involving the theme of potatoes and Gorillaz' last tour. The tracks are Potato Nance, GLT X Home Mashup, and Fresh Static Potato, Porter Robinson X GLT. There's also another track called Death Tour, The Sound of Tachyon, Potato Yon, which also plays with the same theme. The final album that was released using the Sadboy Sheldon name was The End of Trash Posting, which was speculated to have been released in late January 2018 or early February due to the fact that she began using the Sewerslvt name after she released Don't Be Afraid of Dying, as well as It Just Gets Worse. There are 10 tracks on this album with No Lover Mobster, Crystal Houdini, Turbonoided, Untitled, Bass Rattle Frenzy, Out the Sky, Lord of the Dust, The End of Trash Posting Part 1, The End of Trash Posting Part 2, Hotline Spikes, and The End. Trash Posting Part 1 actually has a lot of drum break samples, which Sewerslvt would begin using religiously in all of her future music. Trash Posting Part 1 and this final album under the Sadboy Sheldon name would define Sewerslvt's music and is a staple in her musical sound and its progression. This may be an upgrade from every single other album prior, but it gives off a bit of a lazy love letter type vibe, so it ends up being a fitting goodbye to the Sadboy Sheldon name. At this point, Sewerslvt released 2 albums under the Sewerslvt name, but this may have been released in late January after it just gets worse. Now before I talk about the releases in 2018, I need to talk about Jvnko Furuta. If you don't know who this girl is, in a nutshell, she was a teenage girl in Japan who was brutally roped, tortured, and murdered over the course of 44 days, becoming more popularly known as the 44 Days of Hell. One day, the high school bully asked her out and she rejected him. Not taking well to this, he decided on plan to teach her a lesson, and due to his connections to the Yakuza, he would use this to his advantage and gathered up a bunch of his inferiors and other guys, and when she was riding her bike back home from work, one of the guys caused her to fall off her bike and stole it. Another guy came up and offered to walk her home, to which she agreed. After some time walking, they came to a quiet street corner and was pushed into a car and was driven to a warehouse where she was by the same guy who was walking her home. After that, they took her to one of the bully's friend's house, and she lived there while her family looked for her. However, after the bullies learned that Jvnko's parents were looking for her and filed a missing persons report, they forced her to answer a phone call by telling them that she was just at a friend's house and that she was safe, where she was not. She was being tortured, physically, mentally, and mostly sexually. After 43 days of disgusting and unimaginable pain, I can't go into exact detail due to YouTube TOS. However, if you want to know more about this horrible crime, I will give a more detailed story in the link in the description. 2 of the bully's friends decided to challenge her to a game of mahjong, and after some playing, she beat them both, and so they punished her worse than they did in the past 43 days and actually caused it to be lethal. She died the next morning. However, this isn't the end of the story. What the guys decided to do was to take her body, put it into an oil drum, and fill the entire thing up with liquid concrete, waited until it hardened, and then threw it near a river that was essentially being used as a sewer. A few weeks later, one of the bullies was questioned about a murder, and he thought that the police were talking about Jvnko, so they confessed to that murder, while the police were talking about a completely different case, and they found the concrete drum with her body. The 4 bullies who caused the murder were arrested and jailed for only a few years, each due to the fact that they were underage. Once they were released, people online constantly doxed them and exposed their personal identities each time that the 4 changed their identities, the internet punishing them for what they did. At her funeral, her future employer presented her parents with a uniform that she would have worn, and her school gave her a high school diploma. Both items were given to her parents. The relevance and connection this has to Sewerslvt is an album that she released on November 22nd, 2017 called Don't Be Afraid of Dying. The album is meant to be an homage after learning about what happened to Jvnko. Sewerslvt decided to make an album spreading awareness about this horrible crime. She even made a written post talking about why she used the name. Yes, it's something I discovered a long time ago. The pain and suffering described took its toll on me, trying to understand what that sort of torment would have felt like, what it would take for someone to do such things to someone. It's an example of how fucked we are as humans, to think we can just take someone innocent and cherish and destroy it in every possible way, to strip you of your pride, happiness, your love, and your will to live. I can understand why people can take offense to it, but that's sort of the point. It's a vulgar display. It's a reminder of that pain and suffering. These days I separate the connection. I don't think about it too much. Evidence in the fact I use Jvnko and not Jvnko, but much like all my art, it references to something morbid and vile to some degree, or at least it was before Dreaming Love Story. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things I regret, but it is what it is, and Jvnko has taken on a different meaning to me. Rather than the pain and suffering of life and its cruelties, it's now about my resilience to such things, to still stand, to still keep going, and blossom. Again, I know why you asked this question since someone brought this up on Rate Your Music. I hope people can understand and hopefully look past it, or perhaps that I can explain myself better. I don't know. Hopefully it does answer your question. The 11 song album tracklist, when reading from 1 to 11, spells out Jvnko Furuta. Just keeps getting worse, doesn't it? Intro shit, which is a phone call of a girl calling 911 about finding her brother who committed unfortunate, but what can you do about it? Ginseng trill shit. Necrophilia applies to the dead inside now. Lauren Cloud shit. Killing time for the fuck of it. Emo guitar shit. Of course, it's the world's fault I'm fucked up. Vestige you funk shit. 44 Days in Hell and Back. Desolation witch shit. Under the weight of 1,000 demons. cry kiss witch shit, recalling how to control myself up in all lo-fi shit. Underneath the skin of ours lies true humanity, ambient interlude. This is war, girls last tour shit, and now, broken outro shit. Another thing that this album has are the references to gore shit and how he titles his tracks with the description of what it is, and then shit, all in one word. After the release of Don't Be Afraid of Dying, Sewerslvt released her first EP, which is MGIAETFAHFHMBSITNOMASAF, which stands for Machine Girl is an enemy to freedom and homoerotic fascism. He must be stopped in the name of morality and shitty anime from the 90s. Please, if you have any hope for the future, which you shouldn't, please burn 13 copies of Ginger Snaps. That was a shitty movie. So what if some edgy F-slur teens become wolf girls? I'd still fuck ginger Jews, rule women, should vote, fuck Trump, fuck white people, fuck black people too, fuck God, Islam forever, love Sewerslvt. The track list is 2 songs with Machine Girl Ghost, Sewerslvt Laugh at MG remix, and Machine Girl Fuck Up Your Face, Sewerslvt Le Meb remix. This EP was released possibly mid-December 2017. After Jvnko released the Letters EP, she released her second album, It Just Gets Worse, on January 4th, 2018, where she collaborated with another artist named Mortem. The album features an 11-song tracklist with Intro with Mortem, Ski Mask Fuck, Toe Wizard with Mortem, Drunk as Nature, Are You 3 with Mortem, Sleeping at You Swine, Vapor Trail Part 1 with Mortem, Vapor Trail Part 2 with Mortem, Need Drag Mates, Twinton Caratino with Mortem, and End. The next album that Sewerslvt released was Interdimensional Snuff Films and was published on April 8th, 2018. The album consists of 10 tracks that were Interdimensional Snuff Films, Death Grips and Character Benito Flamingroids, Sewerslvt Mix, Warping Sewerslvt Remix, Westside Doom, 2 Strings, Sewerslvt Movement Mix, Culture Shock, World of Dogs Sewerslvt Remix, Danny Brown and Funny Sewerslvt Remix, Mo Shop Love Taste Sewerslvt Memory Remix, Bottomless Pit Sewerslvt Sega Remix, and Sadboy Sheldon Hotline Spikes Sewerslvt Remake. There are actually a few songs on here that show up on Sewer//Slut, but don't have the Death Grips vocals, such as Culture Shock, which turned into Cute Panty Soaked in Arizona Iced Tea, World of Dogs, which was reworked into Hopelessness, Ain't It Funny turned into Rapescape, Love Taste was then reworked to I Love It When You Suffer, and then Bottomless Pit turned into NTR Ending. There is a bit of backstory to this album. Sewerslvt during this time really wasn't doing well mentally and was dealing with her own personal issues. She had not posted anything for a little while, and on April 8th she published this album, and according to this YouTube comment, although it has been a long time, I recall that she had not posted for a good 2 months straight. Then either the 4th or 8th of April of 2018, she dropped the album on her channel with a description basically stating that the album she posted as a compilation of leftovers she had made that were never completed, that it wasn't her best work, but it was what they could provide by that time. She thanked those who stuck around and supported her when she was around. Thankfully, that support was able to keep her on her feet longer than she thought, with the final sentence stating that the image, that of which being the album cover, was taken during preparation. The remixes are genuinely well made and would pave the way for future remixes made by Sewerslvt due to how good she is at making them. Possibly in late April, Sewerslvt released Year of the New Model Death Grips X Perturbator. All of the later speculated releases have been removed without actually being archived. Sewerslvt uploaded a song which would later have been on the Infatuation EP News from the Garden, Dreams We've Had X Spinel. Once again, this is a speculation as to when it was originally uploaded, so I'm going to guess that it was published possibly in May. Another track that was also possibly posted in June was Ha 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 My DNB, Death Grips X Gore Shit. The third speculated release is Sewerslvt's remix of XXXTentacion's Slipknot Instrumental and Non-Instrumental. I'm going to guess that this was released in early July due to X's death on June 18th. A few months later, Jvnko released her single called Pretty Con on August 8th, 2018, and is one of her most popular songs to this day besides Mr. Kill Myself. It has a total of 3 million views on YouTube, over 25 million streams on Spotify, and is the song most hated by Sewerslvt herself. The reason why she hates it so much is because it led to her eventual downfall due to its popularity blowing up on TikTok, and also the fact that she didn't put that much effort into it and was ashamed by that. The fourth album Sewerslvt released was Sewer//Slut and was published on August 15th, 2018. It features a 10-song tracklist being Sewer, Snide, Unending Status Quo, Cute Panty Soaked in Arizona Iced Tea, Pretty Cunt, Doing It Right, Sewerslvt Remix, I Love It When You Suffer, Oni, NTR Ending, Cardiac Arrest Due to Overdose, Catharsis, and Slut. This album was actually she re-released in 2019 without the Daft Punk remix and a slightly different album cover where instead of it saying cheap dark meat, I heart cocks and bully my vagina, it changed to a much more aesthetically pleasing artwork. Doing some more research, I found that there were actually 2 parts to this album, with their own separate artwork as well. The 5th album she released was Child Sacrifice on November 7, 2018. The tracklist features 5 songs, with Sacrificial, Was It Weird I Listened to I Am God by Clams Casinos When I Lost My Virginity, Personal Purgatory, Rapescape, and The Grilled Fish's Ballad. Was It Weird was originally a separate video that had its own music video, which was a looping clip from a Russian rap song, and in the music video it appears that the underage children are shooting up heroin. Sewerslvt later removed this over concern of another strike on her channel. The original description the video had was, I don't really need to explain given the title, but as stupid as it is, losing that meant some time to me in my adolescence. And now it's gone, and I feel like I lost a lot more than just that. In just 30 minutes, all that frustration and inadequacy ended in an explosive catharsis, but after there was just nothing. I'm on top of a euphoric summit, and everything just seems so distant now. I know that I've reached my peak, but there's nothing else to achieve, nothing to be proud of. And now I look back at all the time I wasted trying to achieve this euphoria, and all the money I spent, and all the time I jerked off thinking it was for nothing. I wasted it all, and time like that never comes back. At the very least, I still have the rest of my life to figure out what is worth worrying about, like what's really waterproof or something. The 6th album was released 2 weeks later on November 22nd. It was called Starving Sluts Always Get Their Fix. It features a 10-song tracklist with the Starving Slut Overture, Little Ones, Cold Steel, Lips, Nowhere Past Oblivion, Pandora's Box, Private Life, The Maw, Dopamine Rush, and Witness the Death. The original album cover featured many illustrated hentai girls in various positions, whereas the YouTube version had this, and then was changed to many different purple blotches to replace the girls, and people have speculated this to be lolly, so it was changed again to a different cover to avoid further controversy and to better fit the sound of the album. Another piece of controversy that a lot of people have ridiculed her for is the sample that is used in Dopamine Rush, which is an interview with a sadistic pedophile who did horrible things to his stepson. Sewerslvt has explained in the past that she wanted to expose the disgusting nature of humans and their actions.
Layer 03 Sewerslvt.
2019 and 2020 would be the best and worst years for Sewerslvt because she ended up blowing up in popularity due to her most popular song, Mr. Kill Myself, being recommended by the YouTube algorithm along with Pretty Cunt blowing up on TikTok. But with popularity comes people digging up past mistakes, and over time in 2020, controversies began popping up on Instagram and Twitter. The first release that Sewerslvt made in 2019 was Selected Sewerworks 2017-19, published on March 6, which was a 10-song tracklist that was a compilation of old songs and new songs put into an album. This album features Jvnko's theme, which is a rename of Sacrificial from Child Sacrifice, Was It Weird I Listened to I'm God by Clams Casinos When I Lost My Virginity, Personal Purgatory, Rapescape, The Grilled Fish's Ballad, Pemex Sewerslvt Remix, Japanese Electronics Sewerslvt Flip, Pandora's Box VIP, Obedience Sewerslvt Remix, and Drowning. Sewerworks also has this very noticeable buzz, and Jvnko's theme, Was It Weird, and Rapescape. It doesn't ruin it, but honestly it gives it more character in that these songs have been connected from the very start. On April 14, 2019, Siberia Layer 1 and Layer 2 were published to her YouTube channel and combined have a little over 1 million views. Siberia Layer 1 and 2 being of course references to the anime Serial Experiments Lane, where there is a club the protagonist Lane goes to called Siberia. The artwork however is the protagonist naked and sucking a penis. This has been pixelated and then completely changed later on. On the 15th of May she released her Sadness in the Distant Travels remix. On June 11th she released her first debut album Drowning in the Sewer. This album has a 14-song tracklist consisting of RSOD, Siberia Layer 1, Luciferian, Squids, Hopelessness, Suicide and Fragments, Nice Ways to Die, Siberia Layer 2, Black Light featuring Skulls, Jvnko Loves You, Lollybox 177013, Death and Humanity, and Nothingness. Nothingness is the most difficult song to listen to. However, that is actually the point of the song because Sewerslvt herself said, the ending of Drowning in the Sewer had a sample of a livestream suicide, neither of which are to be edgy but to serve a point that suicide causes suffering to others around you, and to, like all you will never know after you have gone. But since then, no songs will contain samples of what is most certainly a sensitive topic, since I personally find it to be offensive and were all made during a time when my headspace wasn't the best. The album artwork originally had Jvnko's character naked with at first a speculated vagina, but then Sewerslvt came out and said that it's actually a tucked penis. The album artwork was then changed to this, and then on rateyourmusic.com it was changed to this. There was also a separate video dedicated to Lollybox with the original thumbnail from the actual comic. Don't don't search it up. Don't do it. It was re-uploaded with the thumbnail for the rest of the album. Nice Ways to Die actually had its own original artwork, which was 2 pictures of Rina Palenkova, with the one on the outside being the start to a series of images that she posted to her Facebook before her suicide, and the one in the middle being the very last one that she took before a train decapitated her. Rina Palenkova was actually part of an online chain of suicides in Russia where young adults and even teenagers would say nya, baka, or nya, bye, and then commit. Another comparison would be the video 1444 that went viral on TikTok and YouTube in late 2019 and early to mid 2020. The song was deleted to prevent further controversy along with the video. On June 23rd, Jvne released Digital Dancecore Ultra Mix onto Bandcamp with many different artists including Sewerslvt with the song Endless Grey. The 18-song tracklist is Sin Forever Wipeout Remix, First Shame, Pathfinder VIP, Tokyo Olympics, Toe Sucker, C1U7T5Z, Electra 2.0, Dot Fantasy, Illuminate Green Atmosphere, DDR Drama, Skull Puke, Soulseek.Cutie, Endless Grey, Circuit Jerks Remix, Speed Hack 190 Mix, Make You Dance, BHZHD2MG, and Unchained DDR Edit. Sewerslvt released New Love, her 3rd single of the year, on September 17th. On October 23rd, she published Sewage Bipolar Level 1/2 on her YouTube channel and is a megamix project meant to showcase the shitty music I enjoy. It is one of 2 parts, and part 1 is meant to focus on house/down tempo. The track list is Perfect Blue by Feed Me, Hysteria by J. Jones and EPROM, Possession by I_O, Speaker Burner by Rayto, Laser Sky by Cult Member, Tisha by Buddy Broke, One Step Beyond by Rado, Ghost Voices by Virtual Self, Rado Remix, Ghost Train by Knife Party, Kakao by Dog Blood, Cello Ride by Dog Blood, The Way I Feel by DOS, and Duvet by Boa, Scum V Remix Virtual Self Edit. She released her Infatuation EP on November 10th with the 6-song tracklist being In Misery, In Love, In Melancholy, In Peace, In the End, and News from the Garden. In Melancholy actually had a pretty large amount of controversy with it. The original sample/entire song is actually called 37564 by Foxy Delay and 4649 Nade Shiko. When Sewerslvt uploaded her Infatuation EP, she remixed 37564, and when someone commented on the EP on YouTube with Foxy Delay K remix, I see you, she responded with, the original was too fucking quiet and lacked energy. Someone on Twitter saw this and posted, do not listen to Sewerslvt or support them. They steal tracks and are trying to profit from our scene with zero effort. Blacklist them from everything. Wow, that sucks. A real dick move. I've checked out both the OG remix and Sewerslvt's edit just to make sure. An apology from them is a must. Also, turns out someone just blatantly stole one of their tracks, which is now kind of hilarious. There's a lesson to be learned, I guess. Sewerslvt then changed the name to the original and called it a remix, but this still didn't satisfy Twitter as they were still complaining that she was stealing other people's music. Possibly in mid to late November, Sewerslvt posted 2 tracks called Throughout Consciousness. However, the reason why I say November is because the unreleased mix had the Chin Chain Hanji song in the background, and that meme only became viral around late October of 2019. So it would make sense for Sewerslvt to post this 2-track shitpost sometime in November. Sewerslvt on Christmas Eve posted her most popular song to date, Mr. Kill Myself. It slowly ended up exploding in popularity and ended up giving Sewerslvt a lot of exposure. After this release, she would slowly start getting more and more popular as the YouTube algorithm would keep recommending this to people. I was also recommending the song along with hundreds of thousands of people, and that's actually how many people, including myself, ended up finding Sewerslvt in the first place. This song truly defines Sewerslvt as a musician and is a deserving staple in her musical career. The song, however, was posted earlier in the year, with there being a music video at first, then it being taken down in November in the same year. I'm going to speculate that it was posted sometime in either August or in early October, or sometime in between. The music video featured many different references and fan art, but was taken down due to the scene in the Serial Experiments Lane PS1 game where Lane shoots herself. Mr. Kill Myself didn't have an intro. There is some trivia surrounding Mr. Kill Myself, however. There was a cut ending which had the last recording Etika ever made, apologizing for what he would do. However, that was never released publicly and never will be, given that its use in the context of the song's title would be seen as me mocking him or trying to profit off his suicide. Its original purpose would have been as a tribute, but there's other ways to show solidarity to him and his fans without doing something stupid like that. Had it remained, I would have not gained any traction and I wouldn't have become as big as I have, so I'm glad it was removed from the demo and finished without it, and I really didn't want to be lumped in with J-Station of all people. That being said, that technically never happened and you will not find any clip of it since it was never published. I've never mentioned this to anyone either, and I personally condemn my own actions for considering it, and since stopped using said samples. Her final release of the year was on December 30th with the second part of Sewage Bipolar, which focused more on drum and bass and breakcore. The tracklist features Damon Vale by EPROM and G Jones, White Gum by Igloo Ghost, Together Again by DJ Shinzi, Nightcore Edit, Sugar Rush by Yandere, Blue Illusion VIP by Glassy, NRG by Kan Takahixo, Masayoshi Yamori Remix, Behemoth by Lapsung Glassy Remix, Mortal Light by G Jones, Hungry by Piano Princess, DC0TH Demo 2 by BB.zip, Japanese text, and in brackets Ru-3 by Dissolve, Halcyon by Nausea, All Terrain by Current Value, Make Those Move by I Am Legion, Teddy Killer's Remix, Go by What's So Not, and the Skrillex Signal Remix, Gatling by Machine Code, and a mashup of Time by G Jones with Volt by Young Lean remixed by Sewerslvt. Sewerslvt began the year off strong, releasing one of her best albums to date, Draining Love Story, which was published on January 25th, 2020. The album, with the 10-song tracklist with Love Is a Mighty Big Word, New Love, Yandere Complex, Acrificus, Lexapro Delirium, This Fleeting Feeling, Swinging in a Cell, Mr. Kill Myself, Down the Drain featuring Mirtheon, and Slow Death. This album also had a vinyl release, but was quickly sold out on Geometric Lullaby. On February 12th, she published Get Your Wish by Porter Robinson Sewerslvt remix on YouTube. Sewerslvt released a meme track on March 13th called anus_beat.wave on her SoundCloud, which she hates due to the reason that SoundCloud has constantly rejected her request for a verified account and has given her a lot of issues in the past. A week later, she released Euphoric Filth, Cher's theme. The song had artwork made by Cheru, who is an NSFW artist on Twitter. It was released on March 19th, but ended up being released a day earlier on her YouTube. On April 11th, Sewerslvt released her Azalea Love Life remix and has garnered over 1.5 million views. The video was also in VR, which was not intentional. It also got copyright claimed on top of that. 5 days later, Sewerslvt released Worthlessness Selected, an album with 8 tracks, as well as 3 from Draining Love Story that haven't made it to the official album. The tracklist has Jvnko's theme, The Grilled Fish's Ballad, In Love, In Peace, In the End, Untitled Draining Demo _01, Untitled Draining Demo _02, and Untitled Draining Demo _03. Sewerslvt released her Bring Me the Horizon Drown remix on her YouTube channel on May 10th. On May 29th, Sewerslvt released her first EP called IRLY, which consists of Kawaii Razor Blades, Euphoric Filth, Cher's Theme, Dysphoria, and I Really Like You Part 1. A week later, on July 6th, she published her American Football Never Meant remix along with another artist called Sad Femme. A day later, a drum cover was released by Carl Fragerstrom, who did a drum cover / jam of Mr. Kill Myself, and honestly, it's really good and you should check it out. Much earlier in the year, however, on May 4th, he released a drum cover of Pretty Cunt, to which Sewerslvt commented, bruh. She then released her second single of the year, being Siberia Layer 3, on July 21st. 8 days later, she released a compilation album called Sewer Idol Project with 16-song tracklist. Doing It Right, Was It Weird, Pemex, Japanese Electronics, Pandora's Box, VIP, Obedient, and The Distant Travels, Hoover, 37564, Get Your Wish, This, Drown, Never Meant, Satellite, Yandere Complex VIP, and Purple Emotion. This whole remix compilation is really helpful for people who want a separate album for everything remix related. On August 8th, Sewerslvt published another live mix. That was Sewerslvt Live at Skyward Plus. This has been deleted due to an artist that was featured, the artist being Omnipony, who was having explicit and inappropriate conversations with a minor when they were 19 to 20. After hearing about this controversy, Sewerslvt, instead of cutting out the part of the video that had Omni's song, she deleted the entire thing because she doesn't want to tolerate that type of behavior. The live mix tracklist was Kawaii Razor Blades, Abyss Watcher by TMSV, The Keeper by Voodoo, Snowblind DNA Mix by Julian Andreas, Death Trips by DJ Speedstick, Believe in Yourself by Atira, Hellburst by Must Die, Vroom Vroom by Charlie XCX, DJ Fingerblast Remix, Refract by Omnipony, Sewerslvt Remix, Star Throne by Must Die, Sewerslvt Remix, Nuclear Dash Star by Camellia, and The Ultimate Sex Track by Otira. On the 21st of August, Sewerslvt posted a video called Do Not Stream My Music on Spotify. This is the video transcript. Do not stream my music on Spotify. This also includes any other streaming service, Apple Music, Deezer, etc. I'll explain why, but first I need to explain how music is uploaded to these streaming services in the first place. In order for independent artists to get their music onto streaming platforms, they have to take one of two routes. One, get signed to a record label, which will then distribute an artist's music onto Spotify and other platforms. Or two, use a music distributor. I use a distributor known as Ditto Music. I only use their services due to a clear demand for music to be uploaded onto Spotify and other such platforms. At first I made very little money from it, and it was just there so people can enjoy my music with the convenience of something like Spotify. But this year, with everything that has happened, I had lost my job. In text messages, she said that she worked as a kitchen hand, and music became a full-time job for me. This means I've had to rely on these streaming services, my YouTube channel, my Patreon, and my Bandcamp in order to keep a roof over my head. Had it not been for my music, I would have called it quits. You know what I mean. But recently, I've lost access to my Ditto Music account. Anytime I try to log in, I'm met with an error message claiming my username or password is incorrect. It wasn't. I figured this was an issue with Ditto, or maybe I got hacked. But I looked into this a little deeper and I read some things I found disturbing. She then shows different screenshots of people complaining how Ditto was actually blocking their account and then taking all of their profits. If what they said about Ditto was true, then my account was suspended without notice or warning, but the worst part is that they didn't take down my music. What this means is I can't personally take it down and re-upload it to a new distributor, and I can't earn money from Spotify or anywhere else unless I have access to my account. I've contacted Ditto for some explanation as to what is happening, and I've received no response. It saddens me that I do the best I can just to survive and actually care about living, in a time where my future and the future of millions of people are non-existent, and there's nothing I can do about it. Given the circumstances, all I can do is this: tell others not to stream my music on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Purchasing my music on Bandcamp helps me greatly. Most of the money goes directly to me, and if you can, consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for reading this. I can't do this without you. I love you. This eventually over time began clearing itself up as Sewerslvt moved on to a much more independent and reliable personal distributor. A few months later, on October 17th, she released Siberia Layer 1 + 2 = 3, and it features every single Siberia layer. In November, she hosted another online concert, being live at A2B2 Night of Fire 13/11/20. On December 2nd, she posted her Luna Hi Hi remix as a 100k subscriber special. After a bit of Twitter drama involving this particular tweet, Joe Biden rigged the 2020 election, what a shame, culp harder, that'll help. 10 things you can do today to make yourself a better person. Number 1, punch a cop. 2, reach for his gun. 3 to 10, you figure it out. Insert Joker Society quote here. The world is fucked. This was tweeted on November 27th, and then a week later, December 4th, she released her last EP of the year, The World is Fucked. This EP features 7 tracks, being 1000 Lonely, Make Me Sad, Psychosis, Something of Value Less Than That, Ruin Snowy Day, I Really Like You Part 2, and Jvnko Still Loves You. Not only that, but vinyl of the EP was pressed and is shipping out to people who purchased it in April of 2022. Because of how excited people were for this vinyl, the Wave Racers Collective are donating 15% of the profits to the Trevor Project, which is a non-profit organization focused on suicide prevention efforts for LGBTQ+ youth. 3 days later, however, a YouTube channel called Punk Revolution Now posted a video called Sewerslvt is Cancelled? And in the video, he essentially talks about how Sewerslvt had made a lot of controversial decisions in her past. He also mentions the fact of how she's Australian.
And Australians are fucking stupid. Australians are fucking massive dumbasses.
Was 16, watched a lot of YouTubers that used the N-word, and was online, which is the reason as to why she made a lot of those creative decisions. After talking about the N-word album, he mentions the other issues that Sewerslvt is also being cancelled for, being the suicidal, pornographic, and unusual musical sampling decisions. He also mentions the fact that many artists in the past sampled dark and edgy shit to show how grim reality is through their music. He does this by naming off of other artists. One of these artists is Goreshit, who makes lollycore, which the actual definition of lollycore is heavily distorted or high-pitched lolly, shorthand for lolicon, vocals, and extreme tempos frequently accompanied by beats in the same style as breakcore. However, PRM incorrectly says that it's Lolita instead of what it actually is, which is lolly. The differences between Lolita and lolly are quite vast. The first is a novel which was published in 1955 and is about a man named Humbert Humbert. who falls in love with a 12-year-old girl, and his memoir is about having a relationship with her. The second is Lolita fashion, which is a subculture in Japan that is highly influenced by Victorian clothing and different styles. What lolly is a young or young-looking female character in Japanese anime or manga. Lolicon is a genre of anime/manga in which young female-looking characters appear in sexual or suggestive contexts. Going back to the video, PRN states that Sewerslvt wanted to be edgy by making that type of genre, but she has been distancing herself from everything from her past and wanting to move on. However, people are still trying to cancel her. He also addresses the Mellon Collie/Foxy Delay controversy and says that she should have at least credited the original creator. In conclusion, he ends the video by saying that he wants to be neutral despite everything. People should choose whose side they want to be on. Wants to make sure all of his info is correct, and that it's up to the viewer if they want to keep listening to her. This guy constantly looks like he's overdosing on ketamine. An American media platform called DancingAstronaut.com made an article talking about Sewerslvt's new EP on December 11th. The article praises The World Is Fucked for being genre-bending, and how Sewerslvt published a note on Twitter saying that she will donate the sales from her EP to the Ochre Project, which is a collective that seeks to address the global crisis faced by black trans people. This was the final year of Sewerslvt. At this point, she had already deleted her Twitter, she stopped using her Instagram, and basically deleted that too. Someone else is currently holding the account name in case she wants to take it back, but Sewerslvt was trying to avoid not only as much negativity towards her as possible, but also toxic online communities. However, the rise of a Kiwi Farms article about her caused her to become even more silent. Eventually, when she would release music, the only things in the description would be her Patreon and Bandcamp links. Her first release of the year was a remix of Dreamhouse by Deathheaven. It was released on February 12th. A Discord fan server that was made for Sewerslvt on March 11th, and was posted on the r/Sewerslvt subreddit so that there would be a lot of attention towards it. However, this wasn't the first variation of the Sewer Chord, as there was one prior to this one, but it has been completely deleted from what I could find. It was deleted due to the mods being fed up with the community becoming toxic, so they made a new server being a Sewer Chord v2. Sewerslvt had her own personal Patreon exclusive server where patrons were able to join and actually talk to Sewerslvt. The fan server, on the other hand, was something that Sewerslvt particularly didn't like and avoided it as much as she could. On April 6th, the website called Kiwi Farms published a page on Sewerslvt and exposed a lot of her history, strong distaste towards her and her music, her edginess, a lot of transphobia, and exploitation. Sewerslvt found the article and decided to at first quarantine her Patreon Discord server and then completely deleted it shortly after, along with her Discord account a week later. The first message in the article by Purple Menace talks about how she began as Sadboy Sheldon and how she worked with Punk's Bakery doing Death Grips mashups. Later on, she posted the DG X Hotline Miami mashup, which became popular. However, her other work became more known to the public. They mentioned the homage to Jvnko, along with different album covers such as Child Sacrifice, Starving Sluts, and Siberia Layer 1. After the minor cancellation, Sewerslvt posted this. There's some of the more requested questions. I want to put an end to that shit since I'm sick of being asked. People are still confusing that the person using the Sewerslvt handle on Twitter as if it is actually me. It simply isn't. I can't make it any clearer that I'm not on any dog shit media platforms. I'm sick of all the pain and anguish it caused me for so long, and I think I made the right decision in leaving rather than trying to stick around and endure and try to reason with it. All pointless. There's also the use of music in videos, streams, etc., and whether or not DMCA applies. To be honest, I'm not sure if DMCA applies to my music. I just avoid using it to be safe like any other copyrighted material. In the case that people do use it, all I request is credit for my music's use. I've made the statement many times, but I still get asked, so there's your answer. There's also debate about whether or not there will be any future presses of vinyl, cassette, etc., if previous works are new. There's no plans to do either. I do not have the time and resources to do it myself, and honestly, it's out of my interest. Third parties are no longer involved, and should any ask, I will simply choose to ignore it or refuse. It's really pointless material. It's worthless. You can't take it to the grave. It will degrade and rot like everything else. Also, there is some questions left unanswered, some things I was sort of vague about. This is intentional, but due to some recent events and revelations, I might as well come out and say it. I plan to end Sewerslvt. The reason I haven't done so just yet is because I'm still working on the final album. The Swan Song. It was meant to be dedication, to express my love to something, to someone, but it was all for nothing. My confessions have meant nothing. My love is gone. I am broken and my downward spiral has already begun. When I release this miscarriage of passion and love, it will mark the end. She then posted a GIF that was later used in the Mr. Kill Myself music video before it was taken down in November. Her fanbase then found underground or N-word album and once again was cancelled for this. These are the 3 images in the thread. If you are wondering, Sewerslvt is trash as hell. She literally dropped an album called Bruh. I tweeted at her asking if this was true, and this was her response. Sorry it took so long to get back to you. I regret having made that album, as well as every single under project I made years ago. It was to be edgy for the sake of being edgy, since I was a dumbass 16-year-old who thought iDubbbz was the king of comedy. I obviously meant no ill will to anyone doing it, since at the time, I simply used the argument of they're just words, but it's not my place to decide if it's okay or not under any circumstance. It goes without saying that I'm sorry for what I have done. I'm sorry for causing any offense. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything I can do for you, then let me know. Again, I'm sorry about all of this. And here was my response. I've had to endure so much racism in so many different places in my life, whether it was something micro or macro. I never got the chance to experience these words as just words because they have always been connected to violence. It sucks that you were able to say and do the things you said and did, and were able to just be like, it's just a joke, because black people aren't given that right. It's so frustrating trying to build up community with trans folk, because obviously spaces are eaten up by white trans people, and it's so fucking angering, because you guys always have some shit in your past that was just fucking casually racist. It never fails. I appreciate your apology, but I don't think I can continue to support you, dude. Was wondering if I could get a refund of your album. I supported you because I didn't know about this, but I can't, dude. After that message, they then send a picture to Sewerslvt with a tweet of her saying the N-word. Later on November 27th, she posted a picture that was the teaser for The World Is Fucked. A little while later, she deleted all of her social medias in February 2021 and sent this email. I don't usually respond to emails, since it's purely a business thing and the less social media I have, the better, but I might as well respond to some capacity. The situation is this. Being a 16 to 17-year-old 4chan incel, I was edgy. I did shit to be provocative and get reactions. There was no malice intent involved, but the things used to be edgy were malice in nature, and it's why I've done my best to distance myself from it and urge people not to delve into it, since it's no longer a reflection of who I am now. I'm not the first artist to have done this or feel this way, and I won't be the last. A lot of this drama was started purely out of a few vindictive individuals who canceled me not for social justice but for their own personal gain, and then it went from there. I tried to turn the situation around by making a public apology on Twitter with a link to the Okra Project, a black trans charity that provides food to those who have none. I donated $2,000, this was all the money made from The World Is Fucked, and I urged people to donate and spread the link to the charity around, but people were more concerned about what I did than what I was doing, and I doubt even one of them pledged $1. So I left. I said fuck it. After getting harassed by both 4chan chuds and Twitter nonstop, I left, and I have no interest in returning. The whole ordeal ended up with me in a psych ward in February. Those claiming I'm racist now don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they don't know me. There's screenshots of me saying the N-word with an A, not R, from last year, logic being context and wording offers different meaning, but not long after changed this line of thinking, saying it's not my decision whether or not any word or slur is acceptable to say out of respect to those that it has hurt and continues to hurt. Like a lot of things I did and said, even so much as 6 months ago, I regret it all the same, and the insistent abuse I receive from it doesn't help change things. That all being said, I can't change people as much as I try to speak my truth, and no matter what good I do, or how positive and supporting and loving of a person I am, I'm still going to get shit. People are still going to drag me down, and my career in terms of anything professional has been ruined. I'll never be able to tour. I'll never be able to sign a label. This is as far as I can go. This is the peak of me. All I can do is accept it, tell the world to go fuck itself, and I'll live my life alone, away from everyone and everything. When will new music come out? Probably never, honestly, but there is some stuff I can release if I need money urgently, and unfortunately that's going to be very soon given my living situation. I appreciate your concern, but there's not much anyone can do now to help the situation other than to just continue supporting me however they can. If you want to share this email to other people so they can have a better idea of the situation, then go ahead. Otherwise, I'm just going to do nothing and slowly be forgotten by all of this. See who sticks around for the long haul? I don't know. Much love, Jvnko. On Saturday, 27th of March, 2021. In her Discord, she posted a picture of her thighs, and on Twitter, she posted a picture of her ass in response to Humanz saying that his ass was bigger. Both tweets have since been deleted. The rest of the message is speculation about child sacrifice and starving sluts. After this was posted, people began responding in waves, and it began to grow fairly quickly. Somebody replied with the picture talking about how Sewerslvt sampled a sadistic pedophile and starving sluts. I spoke to one person where I claimed to have done it, but that was just to look edgy. Otherwise, there's no proof regarding that accusation. Several other replies have photos of Sewerslvt with the anime filter, which she originally posted on her Instagram, and people trying to find as much personal information as possible. On April 9th, Sewerslvt completely closed and deleted her Discord server. The owner of the fan server made an announcement. At everyone, for anybody wanting to know why all these new people are joining, Sewerslvt's Patreon Discord was being used by an online community called Kiwi Farms to dox Jvnko herself. I don't know exactly why the server was deleted, but it really doesn't matter. Please try not DMing her right now. I presume that she's trying to take a break from the internet for a while. After this, they started targeting random Sewerslvt fans and calling them different slurs along with calling them out. They also found a picture of Sewerslvt at a Rob Swire concert, and Sewerslvt was sitting under the pendulum logo in this picture. They also thought that another artist named Enfract was Sewerslvt with a different alias, but Enfract came out and disproved these claims. They also went off topic and began insulting Laura Les of 100 Gex and not using her pronouns. They also are completely against the fact that trans people are trans, in addition to the parts where they take random snippets of Discord conversations talking about Kiwi Farms and how they are raiding the sewer cord. In a nutshell, Kiwi Farms is one of the sides in the Sewerslvt story where they see her as someone who has not seen the actions of their ways. A 2-second video called Brain Fart was uploaded by Irish Fat Boy on April 19, 2021. After some time and the video going viral, Sewerslvt posted this comment a few months later. I'm the creator. I posted it within a Discord server and someone from that server then shared it to Twitter and it blew up from there. It's literally just a gif of a brain aneurysm and audio of some guy stabbing toilet paper. It's by far the dumbest thing I've ever made, and yet it's got like thousands of views. I don't care about credit though. I just think it's funny watching people share this around and not realize I made it. This comment has since been deleted. Schizophrenia Simulation was released on June 6, 2021 after a few months of silence and other social media deletion. Sewerslvt also changed her moniker to be more personal from Jvnko to June, and also talked about how Schizo took the longest for her to make, 3 years. This album has 14 tracks and clocks in at 1 hour and 9 minutes. The songs are My Fucked Up Head, I Break My Heart in Yours, Blooming.Sorrow.Descent, I Bleed, Restlessness, Existing Everywhere, Car Accident, Purple Hearts in Her Eyes, Slut Crusher, Echo Side Suite, Antidepressant, Never Existed, Blooming Iridescent Flower, and With You Forever. A week later, June made a new Discord account and went into a fan server and answered questions that fans for her asked, ranging from, what's the next album gonna be like, June? Unfinished, tortured, noisy, heartbroken. So are you taking an indefinite hiatus? Until I decide I want to come back. Then on June 15th, she released a 22-minute song/EP called Tortured Lesbians Ripped Apart. The alternative description, however, was a story about a woman with a peculiar approach to grief trying to desperately cope with the death of everything she loved. The owner of the fan server then decided that the server should probably head towards a different direction away from being Sewerslvt centered. A straw poll was put up on July 25th and the vote was 40.15% neutral, 29.92% completely against, and 29.92% in favor. The owner then explained why the change is needed and explained that June disapproves of the existence of the fan server and that June is retiring the Sewerslvt name, her reputation is poor, toxic communities targeting the server, and that the owner wants to use the server as a platform to help small artists grow and gain attention. 4 days later, Sewerslvt posted this on her community post. Apologies for my absence. Expected to be continued for some time. Someone I loved with all my heart has tragically taken their own life. A charity stream of sorts is currently being planned for the near future, the proceeds of which will be going to Beyond Blue, an Australian suicide prevention organization. But in the meantime, please give what you can. And to anyone struggling with thoughts of self-harm or suicide, please seek help. There's still people who love you and care about you and want you to pull through and get better. Again, I apologize for everything, and please consider making a donation. A day later, a few people who still wanted a Sewerslvt fan server made a separate server called Slvt Goons, and on August 2nd, the original fan server rebranded to Excella, a small machine that when swallowed in the anime Serial Experiments Lane would allow the person's brain to operate 12 times faster, and officially drifted away from the Sewerslvt name. The owner made another announcement expressing her opinions on the matter fully. They were tired of June's behavior, calling her toxic, manipulative, and they cut ties with her a while ago. June's attitude was stingy and egocentric, and didn't have very positive interactions with her. They also mentioned that June doesn't see her fans as people that respect and cherish her art, and treats them as people that she can make feel sorry for her and over-exaggerates her problems. June also tried to give her advice to run the server, while at the same time, June removed all the mods in her server and didn't replace them with anyone. Milner didn't mean for this message to be a hit piece on her butt. She wanted to express her feelings about things that bothered her for a vast amount of time. They, however, still respect Jvne as an artist, but not as a person. Not music related, but surprised a lot of fans, Sewerslvt released a video called Halo Combat Evolved Hail to the Chief Sewer Gaming on September 9th. The video's description mentioned how she wanted to do this as a passion project and as a temporary distraction from life. She's still working on her final album, but it's been getting more and more difficult for her to work on it. She's been really depressed and processing everything that happened, but she had a lot of fun working on this video, and she laughed at herself for the first time in a while, and that she wants to be happy and not have to focus on life for a little while. The biggest detail I forgot to mention is the fact that the video and the next one both use the Daniel UK text-to-speech voice. A YouTube video called You Are Now the Party Leader is a 7-second video with Jvne's model and Halo music playing in the background. Sewerslvt herself commented, "I fucking lol." She then later used this video in her next YouTube video. 5 days later, she released Halo 2, Two Sticks and a Rock, Sewer Gaming, with the same description as the previous video. The video is a bit shorter than the previous one, but has the same amount of research, detail, facts, and jokes as well. 3 days later, on September 17th, Sewerslvt uploaded this post onto her Patreon. The deadline for release is fast approaching. This will be announced soon. Besides the significance of the album to me throughout its development, it's been hell, purely because of the dozens of revisions and scrapped ideas that then gave way to more work down the line. As it feels like as soon as it's 99% complete, a wrench is thrown into the works and pushes everything back, but it's almost there. Just one more track needs to be done, as it's just an instrumental. I struggled to find the words to express. I've never been much of a poet by any means, but no words can be expressed. I understand it when an artist makes an album about death, losing someone you love, and it's easy to sympathize, and it's easy to express that, as it just plagues your mind endlessly. These things come out one way or another. How the fuck do you do it when your love's death was by her own hand, a death you tried so hard to prevent? I watched her rot and tried so hard to inspire joy and provide comfort. I watched as she relapsed into drugs and as she disconnected from everything and everyone. The very reason she got sober was because of me, in hopes of us being better someday, together. I don't blame her for the relapse. It just hurt so much. I felt like it was all over after that point. I made several calls to a psych ward she was admitted to numerous times to call the psych ward in Sydney, warning them that she planned to end her life in their custody by smuggling chemicals. She was very vocal about her intentions as a mean of cruel irony towards those who failed to help her. I gave them all the details and specifics. They did not listen. They did not acknowledge her existence. The second I saw her note, my immediate instinct was to call that fucking hospital. I denied her ever being there. I then called 000, and 30 minutes later the NSW police called me back, confirming her death at hospital early that morning in the waiting room, expecting an evaluation. I just told the police that the hospital didn't even say she was there, and I called them just a few hours after her death. The police acknowledged that they would probably not be proud of telling someone of the fact that patient was successful in their attempt in their care. I then had to tell her friends, my friends, that the most beautiful person we ever knew was gone. I watched as they called me a liar, broke down, and how much it broke them, and I had to be strong enough not to join her. I know she never wanted that for me. She never wanted me to do drugs. I wanted meth and benzos. She forbid it. I wanted to leave by her side. She told me no. She was worried about me, but I couldn't give a shit about me. I wanted her safe. I wanted her to be happy. Psych wards in Australia are fucking useless. They do not strip search you. They do not monitor your behavior. They evaluate you with disdain and disgust. I don't know how many times I told them I planned to jump off a cliff or kiss a train in general, and asked them for their fucking help voluntarily and involuntarily. They didn't give a fuck. You're locked up for a few days. You're then given meds which are more or less placebo, and off you go. No follow-up, no support. And if they know you have a history of drug abuse, they give you nothing but point you to the exit. I'm not alone in this. Suicide is a serious issue here. Every train stop has posters for Lifeline, a useless service I have used throughout the year, pleading for something, anything. Wasted my time. I'm sure you could just replace the entire thing with playing Blade on repeat, and it would yield better results. I was put on hold on a suicide hotline more times than I ever got to speak with a human being. I told them about my plans, and one of them had the audacity to say, "My son works as a train driver. Please don't do that to him." Like I could give a flying fuck. You think anyone who wants to die cares about what happens next? Or think about everything they're leaving behind? All that pain? Fuck no. Leave it to ambiguity. That being said, I'm doing the best I can to fight all this, to get better, and find peace in life. She asked that of me. I'll do my best to honor that. Expect more details by the end of the month. The first single will drop in October. I'm sorry for having to shift from haha stupid TTS Halo video to real shit. Shit, that just fucking killed my soul. 10 days later, Sewerslvt put up new merch on her store, with new pieces being a cropped oversized hoodie, Siberia Layer 0, with multiple references to Serial Experiments Lane, a long sleeve shirt, I Am Here, with quotes from the anime Cowboy Bebop, where the character Faye watches a videotape that she made in her childhood to give to her future self to watch. The same scene was used at the end of Jvnko Still Loves You. Another oversized t-shirt, Jvnko Loves You, along with the original shirt Down the Drain. Special quality about the I Am Here long sleeve is that you could write something on the blank so that it could fit with the sentence in a positive way. For instance, I will love, I will wait, etc. All the proceeds from the merch as well as the future EPs went to Beyond Blue. On the 30th of September, she published Aberration of Good Times on her YouTube, which teased the release date of her final album along with the sound collage of what would end up being the sounds of her final album. 5 days later, on October 4th, she published her second last EP, If You're Still Out There, I Miss You, with 3 tracks, Disassociating, Self-Destruction Worldwide Broadcast, and All the Joy in Life Was Gone Once You Left. On the 23rd of the same month, she released her final EP with the same number of songs called Suffering from Melancholia, Being, Whatever, Blissful Overdose, and Inertia Status. Then, on November 12th, 2021, Jvne released her final album, We Had Good Times Together, don't forget that, with 14 tracks clocking in at a total of 1 hour and 29 minutes. The tracklist includes the combined 6 songs from both previous EPs, making the tracklist Disassociating, Self-Destruction Worldwide Broadcast, All the Joy in Life Was Gone Once You Left, The Last Thing She Sent Me, Light at the End of the Tunnel, Ultra Despair, Borderline, Whatever, Blissful Overdose, Inertia Status, Die Alone, Sick, Twisted, Demented, Her, and Goodbye. And unlike the final Sadboy Sheldon album, this is a genuine goodbye to the rough controversy attached to the Sewerslvt name. This being Sewerslvt's final work completely sums up the way that she made music and how much she has matured with her sound and vibe to create her swan song that she has been talking about for a little over a year leading up to the release date. Goodbye clocks in at 17 minutes in the beginning, sounds like Mr. Kill Myself but slightly higher pitched, acting like an homage to the song that brought her popularity and the majority of her fans. At the end of Goodbye, at the 13-minute mark, there was footage of a Google Street View and then text accompanying it saying that it was the location of their first date. It then switches to another place that says our second date, then our third date with a view of the Sydney Opera House across the water, then our final meal together at a cafe, and then a hospital, which was the last time Jvne saw Angel. It then switches to many distorted images until at the 16-minute and 30-second mark, there's a recording of Angel
enjoying myself. I love the old.
Until it cuts to a memorial image that says, dedicated to the memory of Angel. Please remember that I have always loved you with all my heart, and I always will. I will miss you forever. 1998 to 2021.
Layer 05. Jvnko will always love you.
There is a large amount of unreleased tracks that Sewerslvt has made over the past couple of years, the majority of them being published on her Patreon. The tracks are Rayona, the vocal mix remix of Def Heaven's Dream House, the unfinished version of the Never Meant remix, The People's Freestyler by Mom Funk MC's X 1991 Sewerslvt remix, FM84 Running in the Night Sewerslvt remix, Tokyo Ghetto Pussy I Kiss Your Lips Sewerslvt's Disco 2021 remake, Something Comforting X Sweet Disposition, Mutant Standard, 410,757,864,530 dead cops, which would end up becoming existing everywhere. The track I made while on ecstasy, Zebra 2 Test, D50 and a Juno, the most unfinished thing I'll ever release, Hey_Moon, Ambi_Clip, which turned into Car Accident, 09_Her, which turned into Her, Vapor Runaway, which is a Little Peep vocal add-on to Vapor Trail with Mortem, Hot_Garbage, Not_So_Hot_Garbage_I_Thing, which turned into Inertia Status, This Is Fucking Garbage, I'm Sorry, Scrapped Idea, Untitled Demo, which turned into I Really Like You Part 1, Untitled Unfinished 1, and Untitled Unfinished 2. There's also a Patreon trailer along with the stems for Mr. Kill Myself, which are separated tracks you can use for remixes/mashups. Sewerslvt was one of the most influential artists with the worst backstory. As this article states, there will never be another artist like her. She brought many unique atmospheres and brought the genre of breakcore to a much larger audience. However, because of her past and people misunderstanding her creative decisions, she left after the release of her final album. After this, people began making tributes, memes, songs, and a large amount of art, all inspired by her and her aesthetic. The fan subreddit has been getting more and more popular with a lot of fan-made content and memes. She left behind a vast musical legacy with an armada of remixes, albums, and EPs. She was incredibly misunderstood, only wanting to put the inhumanity of humanity into her music, but only ended up being regarded as edgy and way too controversial. Sewerslvt is a special musician. She inspired many people with her art and music, and inspired me as well, which is why I actually chose to make this video, due to the fact that things about Sewerslvt aren't very well documented nor very well known. Sewerslvt, before her final album, moved from her home city of Adelaide to Sydney, and after all the merch sold out on her website, the owner left this message for people. Thank you for all your support of the Sewerslvt store. This is the owner and the designer of the store speaking. With everything sold out, you have all raised $3,000 for their Beyond Blue Foundation, which aims to provide support for those struggling with mental health. Addressing the future of the store, I have decided to end it alongside Jvnko ending the Sewerslvt project, so no more future drops. Although it was short-lived, I tried to offer conceptual and high-quality pieces to the many fans out there, myself included. In the future, you never know, something else could come after this. And lastly, happy holidays to all. Sewerslvt's final message was her final album, and she hasn't said anything ever since. Not only that, but she said that she didn't want to have to make it. At first she said that she was going to take a break, but then later on, as things began escalating and her online life became worse along with her actual life, she chose to leave entirely and leave behind this extensive legacy. In the end, Sewerslvt was an extremely special artist with a unique sound and art style, but left for her own personal reasons. She will always be remembered, and her fans are not stopping with their constant support despite all of the negativity. Her Patreon or her Bandcamp are still available for people who want to support her. Of course, it is entirely your choice if you want to keep supporting her or not. If you personally think that she has done things that don't deserve to be forgiven, that's completely okay. I'm going to end this video with a quote. We can all agree we did something stupid in our teens. Should we be excluded from society? Can people not change? Jvnko loves you. Thank you for watching this video. This video took a lot of time to research and then put everything in a nice clean order due to how many things were just lost. Luckily, there are many Sewerstorians who remember, archive, and preserve things that Sewerslvt did in the entirety of her life online, mostly. I would like to thank the Sewerslvt archive channels, Kiwi Farm strictly for the information and archiving, the new and old Sewercord, Grubbo, Zodiac Angel, McCain for the artwork, Toasty, everyone who helped with the tributes in r/place, my girlfriend, and my friends for providing input. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would like, subscribe, share this video, and check out the rest of my channel's content. I have many links including references and also how to support the different organizations that were mentioned in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a